Now, never mind Tom Tattle. He's just young, full of young talk and big ideas. He's right about one thing, though. You've got to keep out of sight for a while down here in the barn. And whatever you do, Wildfire, at whatever cost, stay away from those St. Bernard kennels.
Naturally. When I had the chance, where do you think was the first place I went? You're right. Those were dogs? They must put something in the food. Why, the puppies were bigger than I was. And the way they lived, like one of my early dreams of heaven. Saint Bernards. For, saints, their comments left much to be desired.
Quiet!
That's when I heard the voice, unmistakably British. It said, "In here, old chap, and shake a leg." It took all my self-control to sit there staring into a face that looked like something that fell off a totem pole. But as it turned out, he had a kind of style about him that grew on you. Said his name was Jimmy Jocks, and he was the house pet of Mr. Wyndham's daughter, Miss Dorothy. Speaking of Mr. Wyndham...
Where'd that white dog go? The one who was attacking the St. Bernard?
He's disappeared, Mr. Wyndham.
Did you see him, Nolan?
I saw no dog attacking the St. Bernard.
Well, I did. Find him and get him off this estate. I don't care how you do it. This isn't a home for stray mongrels.
Oh, I'm sure he's harmless, Mr. Wyndham.
And I'm sure I don't need your advice, Mr. Nolan. You just find him before I do.
You're not crazy enough to think of keeping that fine fighting dog, are you?
What if I do?
Just thinking of you, Nolan. You're too old to take a chance on getting fired.
Tattle, the reason I've been about here as long as I have is because when I was your age, I was working hard instead of talking so much. Now, let's get busy.
Sure, Nolan. I guess I can never hope to be as smart as you until I'm a real old man. Now, take it easy, old-timer. And if you do get caught, blame it on me. I can handle Wyndham.
That Tom Tattle made my hackles rise. Well, anyway, I hid out for a couple of hours with Jimmy Jocks. And what a big brain that Jocks was. He used words I never heard people say. He'd been all over the world and seen everything. Wonderful things like perfumed French poodles and Chinese fire hydrants. We struck up quite a friendship. Jocks didn't care much for the St. Bernards, but at the same time, he didn't want to tangle with one in a fight. You'd have to be a furrier to find their throats. The things Jimmy Jocks taught me. Did you know that dogs were here before people? That we invented such well-known phrases as puppy love, putting on the dog, and bulldog determination? That my Latin name is, now get this, Canis familiaris? The things Jimmy Jocks showed me. One day the sun was warm, and the air smelled like a department store at Christmas. And we just polished off about half a crate of Wyndham's finest strawberries. Jocks was in a good mood. Expansive, he would have said. He told me I reminded him of a great terrier named Champion Regent Royal. That was my father's name, Champion Regent Royal. No wonder I never found him on a Bowery. He wasn't a fighting dog at all, but a different kind of a champion. A show dog. Jocks then took me to a place I've never seen or heard of before. It was called a trophy room. After Jocks left, I stayed there a long time alone, looking at the prizes won by dogs of the most superior breeding. I thought about my father, the most superior of them all. I knew now I'd never get close to him. He lived in another world.
I don't know who you are, but you couldn't stand that way unless it was bred into you. You must be one of Mr. Canford's new terriers. If you are, he's certainly improving his stock. Here, now, don't tighten up. I just want to get a good look at you. Oh, I know. I'll bet you're the white dog Father was complaining about.
Holy Toledo, 3 of them.
Oh, Jimmy John, he'll kill him, he'll kill him.
My only hope was that they fought like gentlemen, because I didn't.
It's all right now, Jimmy. It's all right, really. It's all right, Jimmy.
Do I shoot him now, or would you rather do it down by the stable?
Father, 3 of those monsters attacked poor little Jimmy Jocks. They'd have killed
These
him.
are 3 of the most valuable St. Bernards in the world, and I don't intend to have any stray mongrel tearing at their throats. Come on, Nolan, let's get it over with.
I'll be no party to the shooting of a defenseless dog.
Well, then I'll do it myself.
Father, stop talking like Simon Legree.
Well, it's interesting to see what kind of people I have working for me.
Well, after 40 years, you should know.
Why don't you tell him whose dog it is, Nolan?
It's my dog, sir. I brought him in as a stable pet.
He's a fine animal, sir. A pit dog.
A fighting dog, a trained killer?
No longer, sir. He's intelligent, has a good heart, and we become friends. In the future, I'll see that he gives you no cause for further trouble.
Well, you get rid of him in 1 hour, or I'll shoot him on sight.
The dog will be out in an hour. And I'll go with him.
Father, what's the matter with you? He might really leave.
Let him. Let him. If he thinks so little of life or his job, he wants to waste it on a street dog, let him. Put those St. Bernards back in the kennel.
Come on, boy. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go, boy.
I'm not overloaded with conscience, but I'd found a friend. I couldn't see letting him lose a lifetime job over a drifter like me.
No. You don't have to be a martyr and go running off to save me. No. You don't realize it, of course, but it's not your fault that all this has happened.
How do you like that? Not only does this guy treat me better than anybody I ever met, but for the 3rd or 4th time he knows exactly what I'm thinking. I wondered if somewhere back in his family tree... No, it was too improbable. But still...
You know, Wildfire, Mr. Wyndham is a self-made man. He rose from a waterfront stevedore by his own ingenuity and the sweat of his brow. Yes. Like everybody in America, he had the dream of getting ahead. You get to a day when you can sit back, take it easy, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. In material things, in friendships, and most important of all, the luxury of time. Time to do all the little personal things you've always wanted to do, like reading the classics, trying to grow a blue rose, learning about good wine, and maybe doing something foolish just for the fun of it, eh? Well, after working all through his life to the day when he could enjoy himself, he suddenly collapsed with a heart attack. He's had 4 in the past 2 years. Yes, those business trips are in truth trips to a clinic. If he had another attack, he could die tomorrow, or next week, or next year. I'm the only one who knows of his misfortune, and that bothers him too. I'm a source of irritation to him, and every time we get together, we seem to argue. I don't want to live myself to see the day he drops dead from one of those arguments. So, it's best I go.